How do indie games innovate in storytelling? Emphasizing narrative-driven gameplay. Indie games often prioritize storytelling as a central element of gameplay. By focusing on narrative-driven experiences, these games create emotional depth, making the story feel more personal and impactful for players. Experimenting with non-linear storytelling. Many indie games use non-linear storytelling, allowing players to explore multiple outcomes and perspectives. This approach gives players agency, making their choices feel more meaningful and reflective of their actions. Integrating story with game mechanics. Indie developers frequently intertwine story elements with gameplay mechanics. Games like Inside and Journey tell stories without relying on dialogue, using visuals, environments, and actions to convey meaning, enhancing immersion. Tackling unique or taboo topics. Indie games often tackle unconventional or taboo subjects, such as mental health, identity, or loss. This willingness to explore sensitive topics allows for deeper, more thought-provoking narratives that might not be found in mainstream games. Creating emotional and empathetic connections. Indie games excel at creating emotional bonds between the player and characters. Through intimate storytelling and character development, players become more invested in the characters' fates, resulting in powerful emotional experiences. Using minimalist design for maximum impact. Many indie games employ minimalist art and dialogue to focus on the story. Games like Celeste use simple visuals and short dialogues, allowing players to connect more deeply with the narrative through subtlety and atmosphere. Building world building through exploration. Indie games often rely on environmental storytelling, where players discover the narrative through exploration. This allows for a more organic and immersive experience as players piece together the story themselves. Fostering player interpretation. Indie games often leave space for player interpretation, inviting them to create their own meaning or theories about the story. This openness sparks discussion and personal reflection, making the narrative more interactive. Challenging traditional narrative structures. Indie games experiment with narrative structures, sometimes even breaking the fourth wall. The Stanley Parable and Undertale play with the concept of player control, presenting stories that subvert expectations and challenge traditional storytelling techniques. Building communities around stories. Indie games often create passionate communities that form around shared storytelling experiences. Players discuss, theorize, and contribute to the narrative in ways that expand and enrich the original story, fostering a sense of collective involvement.